Before we get started, I want to explain something to you. Every week everybody could be involved. We do what's called kick wars here, right? Where we look at footwear and we allow the guests to decide who wins, right? Okay. So me and my lady, me and Brian, we both wore the Breads. These are Chicago. This is Chi-Town. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not playing, right? So we came to win. But you can look around at the refs. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can, you know what I mean? There's some other nice. That's nice. That's all right.
Yeah, well, I should have brought something different. Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Jay got little Air Max or whatever.
My name is Jay, right? So, my name is Jay. What that say?
It say Jay. Look what Kai got on, right?
Nice.
I think Raina spray painted though. But you'll let us know at the end. Nah, your man can rock too. Your man is in it too. Everybody in is in it. You know what I'm saying? You just can't be in it because you're the voter.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
I got on J's.
Those are J's. I got those.
Right.
Yeah, I got those. So look, this is where I want to start this, and I'm so happy. I'm so honored to get an opportunity to speak to this brother. And while this brother had gotten amazing accolades for the documentary Jeen-Yuhs that chronicled years and years of the life of Kanye West, for me, the work that you did on the, well, it's not really a 30 for 30, but for ESPN Films, for Benji.
Oh, no, well, actually, it was a 30 for 30.
It was a 30 for 30.
Well, it started off as ESPN Films. They did
right.
the 30, they already did the 30-30s.
Right.
It was for the 30th anniversary.
Right.
But everybody was telling us, like, man, y'all doing a 30 for 30. So we went to ESPN to keep, like, everybody think we doing a 30 for 30. So they made them, they started the whole 30 for 30 off of Benji.
Okay. Yeah, man. So I don't know if y'all checked that out, but there's a documentary about a ball player from Simeon High School in Chicago named Benjamin Watson, was his name?
Ben Wilson.
Ben Wilson. And it was prophetic. And you and Chike did that, man. Y'all did that shit, man. Like for real. And we're gonna get into it because we're gonna talk about some of the things I want to talk about about it. But I want to introduce to some and present to others my brother Coodie Rock.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, we got real applause. Right?
All family.
So here's where I want to start with the fact that I'm telling you that the Benji doc meant a lot to me. Because, and I'm gonna tell you why it meant a lot. It meant a lot because we all growing up had stories that somebody that had promised that was taken down by even us. So all of us here, well, 5 of us in here went to the same high school. And when we were seniors, our friend was murdered. Days before our prom, well, after the prom, right?
That was between
prom and graduation.
Right before graduation.
He was murdered. And so this Benji story speaks to anybody that grows up in the inner city, right? Yeah. So I heard you some time ago talk about how you thought Chicago, in terms of it being depicted in culture and in television and in film. And you said that you still hadn't really saw what you wanted to see. Yeah. This was before Jeen-Yuhs though, and Jeen-Yuhs gives us a look at Chicago.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you feel about it now? Do you feel Chicago is depicted in a way that you being a native of the city, a son of the city, could appreciate?
Yeah, well, still not yet. You know what I'm saying? You do got the shows like The Shine and things like that, you know, in Chicago. And that new show, what is it, Beef or something like that?
Yo, she just was told Bear. She just was telling me about Bear. Right. So you watched that?
Kinda, yeah, sort of. But it's still not hood Chicago. Like the closest thing we got to Chicago was Cooley High, to tell you the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that we grew up on it. And Cochise, that's another, that's like a Benji story almost. You know what I'm saying?
It sure is. It's the same story, because Cooley High was 1964 and Benji was 1984. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Same story.
Yeah.
And, you know, we used to try to, like, when I was a shorty, like I was 7th grade, Benji was, you know, his senior year. We was trying to go see him play. Yeah. Never could because we was younger, so they wouldn't let you in the high school games.
Right.
And when he died, it was like the city just shut down. Like,
so tell me about that. Tell me about November 20th, 1984, because that's the day. That's the day he got shot. Yeah. Tell me about that day. You 12 years old at the
12 and watching the news, and it kept coming on. So when we did the doc, the news clips, I wanted everybody to feel how I felt in 7th grade when I was just showing the news clip and him just dying, and we, you know, the build up to how he was a great player. So we did that purposely because that's when they was starting to talk about Chirac in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted them kids to feel that because what happened after he died, the city, like the crime rate went down. You felt safe. You felt like you could move around. Because, Chicago's segregated because of the gangs, because of course, race. We couldn't go across the tracks because the white people would be like, nigga, throw stuff at us. And we couldn't,
Bro, Chicago one of the most segregated places I've ever been. And I didn't know that. Like, when you come from New York, right? So I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from where we sitting, right? This community. When you think about Chicago as a Brooklyn person, you think about Al Capone, you think about Coodie High, you think about Cabrini Green, you think about Good Times, Mad Dog, when he popped Jay, right? Those are things that you think about as a kid when you think about Chicago. When I went to Chicago, I realized that shit was segregated.
Yeah, oh man. Well, Martin Luther King said he never seen that much hate in people's eyes until he came to Chicago.
Right.
That's when he got busted upside the head. And that was 4 months before he got assassinated.
Word.
Yeah, so, think about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But everywhere, you see all the clips of him in, Alabama and everywhere, but Chicago was...
Tell me about it. Tell me about the Chicago you that isn't being depicted. You tell me about growing up. Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in what they call the Hunters, Wild Hunters.
Hunters, yeah.
Me and Kitty Cool right over there.
Okay.
Wild Hunters. But, it was one of them things like, on your block, it was gangs, so you had the GDs, the Vice Lords, there was so many gangs, and the GDs, and it was certain gangs that ride under what they call the 6-point star, and another gang that ride under the 5. I'll just keep it simple as that. And if you didn't ride under the 5 and you was on the 6 side, then you couldn't go in the neighborhood. So, but you had to go to school in that neighborhood, so you had to ride the bus through and and they know you from this way.
All the time. Man. And you talking about young. You talking about young.
Yeah, you talking
9, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
One thing about Chicago dudes that I always recognize, even like going to college when I went away to school and just meeting Chicago dudes in passing, is y'all got a moxie that I could respect. Like, y'all are grounded and rooted in some real shit. And you can tell that where you're from is like the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, like, and speaking back on gangs, it's like the gangs was actually like when it got bad, really got bad, even though it was, Benji was the 669th murder that year. You know what I'm saying? So it was already crazy. But with the gangs, it was like it was some type of organization. You know what I'm saying? It's some type of you couldn't do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't just go shooting down the block. If you wanted to get somebody, you had to go get them. You know what I mean? And it was like rules like, respect your elders. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so many. It was a whole book of laws that you had to know when you joined the gang. Luckily for me, I never had to join the gang. First, my mother wouldn't let me join the gang because the dude that was running the gang on my block lived across the street. So my mother wouldn't let me go to the meetings, and his mother wouldn't let me come over to the meetings. I couldn't even sneak over there. So that was a good thing. But then when I met like Kenny Cool and my boy Math and them, they brother ran the gang. He ran the Black Gangsters. So we was like honorary Black Gangsters without no meetings, no dues, no nothing. But he's the reason why crack cocaine didn't hit our neighborhood.
Tell me about that.
Because he wouldn't let nobody sell that over there. You know what I mean? And he made sure nobody did that. And
that's revolutionary. That's a lot because crack was decimating every black community in the nation at that time. And you telling me that you guys had resistance.
Yeah.
Against
so our parents didn't get sprung on. You know what I'm saying? Like I credit it to that. You know, I credit it to Casey Capone, who. Now he's a pastor. Yeah, and I'll tell you a quick story about Capone because he got shot up, ran in his mother's room, bloody, and was like, "Mom, I'm not scared to die, but I don't want to go to hell." Right? And they rushed to the hospital. When he got to the hospital, he was pronounced dead on arrival. And he said what he seen was pitch black. He said within the pitch black, he seen like these 3 figures. Now, mind you, pitch black, if you see something. He said, next thing you know, the figures was right in front of him. He said, at that moment, he was like, Jesus. And when he said Jesus, he woke up. He woke up out of death, and since then, he been a pastor. Casey Capone, So that's a testament of God. But you know, Chicago was a wild city. But like I said, the gangs kind of had it under control. And now, you know, they locked up all the leaders of the gang, so it just went wild. So you know, that made it more dangerous, definitely for the kids. You know, now it's like younger kids really getting killed, and, you know, so.
With all the Chirac stuff, and with all the depiction, of Chicago now, can you speak about how Chicagoans view how we view them? Like, you know, academics did the whole Chirac thing and the whole old block thing and the Vaughn and the Dirk and the killing. How do you think Chicagoans, specifically young Chicagoans, view how our culture views them now?
I don't think they can see
They
it
don't
like
even
that.
care.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they don't even care.
You gotta get out of it to see it. You know what I'm saying? They in it.
Right,
You
they
know?
in it.
So
They deep in it.
They won't be able to see that. Because a lot of stuff that happens now is because of social media. You know, it's like war going on Facebook.
Right.
And people, you know, coming out of that killing each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different game. But I don't think they know what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because when I went back to Chicago not too long ago, and the way they depict Chicago and the, you know, Chirac and people killing, it felt like when I rode through Inglewood, like people were gonna be like in the house and under the beds type
But
of
that
thing.
ain't
You
the
know
case.
what I'm saying? No, people out jump roping, and I was like, this is like regular, but it was always like that.
Right.
And you know, at night it might get wild.
How much you think of it as hype? How much of it do you think is hype? How much of it do you think is the natural stereotyping of black communities?
I mean, I think it's a lot of that, but then you know,
like people are dying though.
Yeah, the murder rate is real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, they're making it probably worse than what it is, but it's
What's up with the mayor with the baggy slacks and the suit? What's up with her?
What's
What's her name? No, the sister.
Yeah.
She was cool. She was a good man.
I never really
she used to always look tight, B.
Yeah, I've been
baggy
in New York. I've been in New York since 2001.
How often did you go back to Chicago at all?
I go not that often, but I go. You know, my mom there, my sister, so I go. You know, I go a lot, but not often.
I want to talk to you about that because you grew up with all sisters.
Yeah,
like me, I grew up with
sisters.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think people understand being the only boy with like sisters. How was it growing up?
Man, it was. I mean, you know, you just had to be. You wanted to be tougher than what you know. You felt like, oh, I got all sisters, so I got to prove that I'm a man. You know,
but then they like, oh, whatever, like, they,
you
know what I mean? They on their own shit. Yeah.
So I was a wild kid, you know, like hanging with some of the wrong people. I guess hanging with the wrong people, but you know, just to get away from that, like, oh, I ain't no sissy type thing. I used to have a joke when I did comedy. I had a joke about me playing with my sisters, you know what I'm saying? Which I never really did. But
I used to have my sisters. I got twin sisters. They 4 years younger than me. So I used to play this game in the house where I would play football. We had like a couch. We had like we lived in a long kind of railroad situation with the couch in the middle. So I would throw the ball to myself and then catch it, act like I was Jerry Rice, and like land on the couch. When my sisters got old enough, I set up a whole one-on-one football game. I'd be like, yo, Kev, you throw the ball, and Kayam, you guard me. And I would bust her shit, catch the ball, and just have them switch. So one of them would play quarterback, and they hated that shit. But they would do it, because, you know, they was like 6. They ain't had no choice. Were you a creative back then?
Oh, yeah, because I had all sisters, I played with myself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did a lot of that too,
I used to and then I didn't have money, so I didn't have like the action figures and all that. So I had like a pencil and something else, and that'd be the man. And I don't know why, when I did play like that, it was always fighting. They was always doing karate or fighting each other, you know. But I did a lot of that, and yeah, that's pretty much it though. Like, see, my family is like the Bill Cosby show, so I'm like I'm Theo, you know what I'm saying? So I got my older sister, me, and then my 2 little sisters. So when my baby sister, when she came into the house, you know, she slept in a room with me. So I would like read to her, and I really couldn't even read, but I was reading. I guess I was reading to her. Let me read to my little sister. So, And she doing exactly what I do now too. She into film and all.
Really?
It's funny. Yeah. My older sister, she the one got me into film.
I was gonna ask you that. How did you get into that?
Well, she was doing radio TV in high school. She's 2 years older than me. So my mom, after school, they would stay and do things. So my mom would send me up there to kind of like watch over.
So you stay out the street, though, also protecting you.
Right. If you think about it. So I would go up there and I would be with her, and they'd be working cameras and doing, So I'm looking at all of this, not necessarily participating, but I'm watching it. And then when my freshman year, the teacher was like, "Yo, I need you to run this camera at my orientation." So now I'm at my orientation on the camera. Freshman year, like I already went to the school, right? You know what I'm saying? So everybody looking at me like,
your sister had you got social capital from your sister.
Oh, she set me up.
Right, she set you up lovely. The public access scene was very big here in New York. Video Music Box was on a public network. Back in the day, we had channel 247, 9, 11, 13, and then everything else was like Bob Ross. You know who Bob Ross is? Bob Ross would come on channel 30 with the painter and shit, right? So when did you? First off, did you start Channel Zero while you was in high school, or you graduated first?
No, I graduated. In high school, I used to like host the talent shows. I was the earliest person to do it. Host a teacher talent show myself.
On the mic?
Yeah, on the mic.
I want to know about the joke shit too, because you was a comedian for it. So that's when you was,
Yeah, I was funny in class. Like I used to disrupt the class. I got in trouble for a lot, but I would do the stage. I was hosting the talent shows, and I'd say something, people would laugh. So I knew I was funny in it. And then this guy Dion Cole and this other guy B Cole, which I was cool with after with B Cole, I was cool with it. Me and him used to, every time me and B Cole seen each other, we would crack on each other. But I used to kill him. Right. And then after high school, I met Dion, and I seen him and B Cole doing comedy. I was like, I'm just as funny as them. So that's when I wrote some jokes. Bernie Mac had a open mic at the Cotton Club, and I was like, I'm gonna go do it. And I filled out the thing and went up there. And Bernie, it was a dude before me. He bombed. Like he just like nobody was laughing, so he got off the stage. Now, mind you, Cotton Club was like all the dope dealers with NBA players, Michael Jordan and Pippen and them. They wasn't there the night I was there performing, but they used to be there all the time on a Monday night because of Bernie. And the dude bombed, and when he bombed, he got off the stage. Bernie Mac went up there and lit him up, but he was really talking to me. What to do and what not. You don't just come up here and do he was saying all of that, and I'm like, okay, and what? Oh, and I went up there and rocked it. You know what I'm saying? And
followed the direction.
Followed it. I listened. That's how God work. I'm listening like, whoa, like amazing that he's talking to me, that happened. Because if somebody would have rocked and I had to go up there, it'd have been a whole nother situation.
So Bernie was like a mentor to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me the most significant, as you think about him, tell me of some of the most significant lessons you learned from Bernie.
I mean, I know he wouldn't give nobody nothing, you know what I'm saying? He used to say it's gonna take 10 years before you even get noticed. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, what, I just gotta stand to know what you mean, 10 years. And he was right though. It's 10 years before you get noticed, and almost 20 years before you
get
start
famous, making some money.
Look at Dion Cole and a lot of like Lil Rel, all of them was doing comedy with us back then, and and Bernie Mac was our mentor, but like me, Dion, all of us. He used to have a thing called Miltronaires that he would do, and he hired me twice. You know what I'm saying? Ali Leroy was, who was the showrunner of Everybody Hates Chris. He was there, and they hired me and Dion twice, and maybe some other comedians, but I know for certain me and Dion.
Was you funny for real though?
Yeah, I did BET's Comedy Review 2 seasons.
You did?
Yeah. 2 seasons of BET's.
Let me ask you this, because we gotta find the tape. We gotta find the video.
I got it.
So people who have never stood on a stage in front of thousands, in front of hundreds of people, don't really understand that, right? And some people are trepidous about it. Oh, I couldn't do that. I don't know. How did you find your comfort standing up there? Because it's one thing to just host something, but it's another thing when you're telling jokes, because when you're telling jokes, if you're funny, I'ma laugh. But if you're not funny, I'ma bomb you. And so how did you find your comfort level on stage? Like, what was it from your youth? Like, tell me, where did you find your comfort?
I think my confidence came definitely from high school doing that, and I was loving to go on stage and do, whatever,
Right.
and people was, I knew I could do it, put it like that.
Right.
And, but it's still like, it's still a lot you have to really mentally do. That's why I didn't stick with it, because I was just like, I fell in love with filmmaking, and when I started making money doing comedy, that's when I was like, oh, this ain't fun no more. This is a job, you know what I mean? Because when it was fun, I just wanted to go up there and make people laugh and see. And then too, the comedian world is a dark world, you know what I mean? Which I didn't know nothing about. I'm like, I'm thinking everybody happy and cool like me. Like,
that was side of the coin. Yeah, that was side of the coin.
It was a trip, so I was like, yeah, this not for me. And I just stopped, and like I was filming Ye, so it was like,
I want to get into how you began that project, right? But even before then, I want to know, at that time frame, in your late teens, early 20s, what were some of your favorite films? What were some of the things that influenced you as a filmmaker?
I tell you, the main one that influenced me was JoJo Dasser and Richard Pryor.
Ooh.
That was the main thing when I was like, oh.
But that was dark too, though. Yeah, there was a dark side to that.
Dark.
Yeah,
it was real dark.
Yeah,
it was like, I want to do that, but I'm not gonna do this other stuff. Right. The other things. If I just do this and don't do that, because I was acting too. When Bernie Mac would do the Cotton Club, it was a dude named Jimmy Spinks. Jimmy Spinks was like his Ed McMahon. And, a lot of people might not know Ed McMahon. They got to think of somebody today who like Johnny Carson. Ed
you in an age-appropriate room.
Right. Okay.
We all know that. Right.
I bet. But Jimmy Spinks was like his Ed McMahon, and Jimmy Spinks was the big dude in not Good Times, but Car Wash. But he was on Good Times a few times. But he, the big dude in Car Wash that was driving the moped. The guy with the
I know you're talking about. Yeah, that's Jimmy Spinks.
Yeah, Jimmy Spinks. So he really took him and Bernie both, but he was like, yo, I want you to come to these acting classes. So he started setting me up. I'll go, learn how to act with him. Then he set me up with this other acting coach, Coro, who was cold. And, so I was doing that and comedy. Right. Because that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. And I was hosting at Channel Zero, like the public access show you was mentioning. Right. We started with Danny Sorge. We had the barbershop. We like, Coodie, man, why don't you host this show for me? We're going to call it Channel Zero. We're going to go to concerts, and we're going to film everybody outside the concert talking about the artist or whatever. I was like, no, let's go in the concert. So we used to sneak in the concert with the camera, film, and do stuff outside. Do it's for everybody. I remember we snuck in on Busta Rhymes. We got the concert, that was cool, but then we waited outside his dressing room for him to come out. And he came out, we got the camera. I'm like, yo, Busta. And he was like, what? It snapped on us, right? He was like, man, erase that tape, right? And we was like, okay, so back in the day it was VHS, right? Only way you can erase the tape is by recording over it. So we rewinded it and pointed down and recorded, was recording, and Busta Rhymes was, first snapping, and then he started giving us advice. And we wind up airing that episode with the camera.
With the camera down, so you're recording and you can hear the audio.
Hear Busta, yeah. Wow. So it was pretty dope.
What was the basis of the show? So the basis of the show was, let's film social events and people and their reactions to them.
Yeah, that was
whatever it was, like, concerts, parties, whatever.
It became like Method Man to call it. He was like, man, Channel Zero, YouTube before YouTube, or World Star before World Star, So it was like that. It was a montage of a bunch of things, you know what I mean? But it all had a meaning. So we'd film Ron DMC, then we interview them, then we'd go to Don Juan the Pimp, then we'd show a fight. Then it was just like, but it all made sense.
A hodgepodge of the culture.
Yeah.
What year is this?
Culture. This is 96.
Okay. So this is the culture. This is the golden era. This is the Hove. This is Biggie. This is all of it.
Yeah, we never got Biggie. We never got Pac. I'm the two we didn't get. But a lot of, Snoop, everybody.
When did you know that the formula was working? Like, did somebody come like, yo, Channel Zero is hot? Like, when did you know?
With Danny and we'll put together an episode and we'll put it on in the barbershop. And this is Barbershop Mellow Swing out of Chicago, because this group they was a group called Mellow Swing, my boy Dave and Brennan. They was about to blow up. And then No ID, if you know the producer No ID,
right.
and Doug Infinite had a studio that Kanye, that's where Kanye used to go try to get them to help him learn how to do
That's
tracks.
where you met,
Yeah, well,
from that situation.
Yeah, at the barbershop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when it became a barbershop, the studio became a barbershop, they would still come up there, but at that same shop, that's where Danny worked for Channel Zero. So then after we started Channel Zero, we'd go up there and do an episode and put it on at the barbershop, and everybody would go crazy over it. So that's when I was like, oh shit, this is dope. And then Danny was like, man, I gotta cut hair. When I'm like, somebody's performing over wherever, and I gotta cut hair. So I'm like, man, show me how to use your camera. Actually, the first time me on the camera was this big fight that was real popular, because he got, and I'm gonna just say it because that's what probably happened. He got scared while he was filming, while he was fighting. I was like,
he dropped the camera. He was like,
give me the camera down.
Give me
I
that.
was like, yo, give me the camera. So I went in and deep in, I'm walking in the fight.
Right.
But the camera didn't care, you
Right.
know, because I had my guys with me too, so
Right.
they didn't
Right.
really want it.
At this
with us,
time, Coodie, like, did you consider it? What did you consider yourself? Like, was you? Let me ask it like this: in 1996, you got Channel Zero. It's a public access show that you showing in barbershops, and you kind of moving in that space. You had a job?
Yeah.
Was you working at the time?
Yeah, I was working. Well, I got fired, actually. You talk about
That's the
like
type
when
of
we
shit
doing Channel
people like
Zero.
us do. We get fired from
Yeah.
jobs, right?
So when I was doing comedy, my father got me a job at Commonwealth Edison to read meters. And that was cool because I would like read my meter, then whatever time I finish, I get off and I'm good. And they just fired me out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like,
because that wasn't your path. That's why.
Exactly.
That's
Thank
why-
God for it.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
they didn't give me unemployment or nothing.
Oh, they ain't even give you.
Yeah, I just bought a apartment and a car.
Right.
They were like, sorry. So at that moment though, that you're right, because I was like, I'm never working for nobody that can fire me again.
Right.
And I was 94.
Right.
And I ain't worked for nobody since
Right.
94.
So now you are like, you in the hood, you doing this work. You feel like you a filmmaker? Are you sitting back and you're thinking about envisioning what you're gonna film, how you're gonna do it?
Kind of, sort of, but it definitely when I seen Hoop Dreams, and I was like, I'm gonna do Hoop Dreams on this
Really?
dude Kanye.
Hoop Dreams inspired you?
Yeah, for Ye. So I
Okay.
seen the movie Hoop Dreams. I was like, oh, that's dope. How they just
That's from here. That's from Bed-Stuy. That's us.
no, that's Chicago.
Oh, no. Oh, that's Chicago.
Yeah.
But hold on, they didn't have, what was the one with Bugs? And them, that wasn't Hoop Dreams? No, Soul in the Hole. Soul in the Hole. Soul in the Hole. Nah, okay.
Yeah, so,
right.
But Hoop Dreams was the one with
Where Ivy, what's
with
my man's name?
AG,
Arthur A.G.
and Graham Gates.
Right,
From the
right.
west
I
side
remember
of
that one.
Chicago.
I remember that one.
But they stuck with him from grammar school to see if they make it to the league, and
Yeah.
I was like, yo, that's dope. You know, so that's what I'm like, I have to do one of them. So I seen Kanye, and I was like, I'm gonna do one on Dude, Ye.
But why you chose Ye at that time? This is 96. This ain't even Ye. This is Kanye.
Right, this
This is Kanye.
Yeah, this Kanye West.
Donda's son.
Right, yeah.
What was it that you saw?
I mean, he would come in the barbershop with them tracks first. I'm like, this dude talented. And then he had the group, the Go Getters, and I went to go see him perform, and he was so charismatic on the stage. It was three of them, and they cold, GLC and Timmy G. They was cold too.
Yeah, GLC is the truth.
Right,
Yeah.
but then this dude that did the beat and he cold, and the way he was moving on the stage, I was like, I'm gonna do the Hoop Dreams on him. We couldn't find that footage, so that part wasn't in the doc. But I mean, we say it, but we don't. I wish I had that.
You had a
footage.
convo with him? You like, yo, listen, this is what my plan
No,
is.
so then I was just go around and film, right? We were doing Channel Zero too.
Right.
And then when he moved, I was like, oh shit, dang.
He moved to Atlanta?
Moved to New York.
New York, when he came here.
Yeah, and I was in Chicago, and then my boy was like, Coodie, Michael Jordan coming back to the NBA. He was Michael Jordan's nephew, Juanita's nephew, right? I'm like, what? You know, and he was like, yeah. I was like, oh shit. I'm gonna put something together and document Michael Jordan, because I just wanted to document for a minute, see a progression of somebody doing
Right, you
something.
just wanted to see a progression.
Yeah, and Mike was there, so I went to Miami, and I'm filming, like, I'm talking about, because we used to, of Channel Zero, Source Magazine just took us under their wing, gave us a camera and everything, and the mic. So the Source mic. So it was Memorial Weekend. All the hood was going to Cancun. So like everybody started going to Miami, like Puff, all of them was in Miami, and that's the year I went. And I had the Source mic, so I was getting in everywhere. And that's why I interviewed like Magic Johnson and a bunch of NBA players, and I got footage of I didn't interview, but I got footage of like J-Lo and them riding scooter. I just was filming everything, and it was one thing that Dion Cole so mad because we on stage, we was out there together. We on stage, and Jermaine Dupri is DJing. No, I got Jermaine Dupri DJing too. Nobody knew that, but Des Markey was DJing. Jermaine Dupri on the mic, and while I'm on the stage, Jay-Z walks up to the mic and start freestyle. I turn the camera, it's Jay-Z, I'm right there.
And you're right on the stage.
Right there.
Biz Markie DJing.
Yep.
Jermaine Dupri on the mic, and Hove comes and freestyle.
And
this is like 97, 98.
This is what, 99.
99.
No, 2000. It's 2000.
Right.
But it's 2000, so that's happening. And then no, that's actually 2000. It's 2001 May, Memorial 2001. So when that happened, and Dion was on stage too. So I get back to Chicago. I'm driving. I get off the freeway with the camera, everything in the car, and next thing I know, my door opens up. I look to the side. It's a dude with a 9mm gun to my head, like, "Yo, give me that money." And I'm like, thinking he gonna be like, "I'm just fucking with you, man." You know, I'm like, and he was like, "Yo, better give me that money. I'm gonna kill you." And I was like, "Yo, I ain't got no money, right?" He was like, I was like, "Whatever you find in the car is yours. Just let me out." You know what I'm saying? So he let me out. I just knew he was gonna start shooting me just cause, and I ran or whatever. So they carjacked me. Got all the footage from Miami, all the stuff that I shot for Michael Jordan, because I was gonna put together. Because I kept asking everybody, what if Michael Jordan came back to the NBA? What would it be like? You know, Magic, all of them. Right. And so I was gonna put that together, but he carjacked all of that footage. Right. That just what the joke of it. I had Dion. I talked to Dion. I was like, "Dion," I said, "Dude, I got carjacked, man." He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, man. They took the camera. They took all that footage from Miami. Man, he was like, all the footage." I was like, yeah, man. Oh, yeah, they took the footage, man. They bust me in the head, man. I'm bleeding and everything. You're like,
they ain't bust you in the head. They bust you in the head?
Wait, so you mean to tell me they took all of the footage? It's Dion. I'm like, this nigga here. But
think about that footage. That content was everything.
Yo, and I wonder what that content is now.
Yo, we need to.
Because I was literally gonna ask.
Right, we need to.
Before we found out about the carjacker.
Well, who is the carjacker? We need that footage. He probably about 60 years old now. He don't have it.
What happened? I think he's not alive because one of my boys, like maybe a year or so later, they called me. He was like, "Coodie, you got carjacked?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, cause this dude that we know just got killed, and they was thinking about all the things that he did messed up."
Wow.
And one of the things that he did, so obviously he knew me.
He knew you,
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Was carjacked me.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
but I heard you tell this before, because the money you got from the
carjacking, because I just bought the condo.
Right.
Me and my ex-wife at the time bought a condo, so I used that money and we moved to New York.
You moved to New York. Yeah. So again, God is working in your life.
On,
like that shit is crazy.
That the carjacker was an angel when
you
think about
that shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Even though you lost some powerful footage.
Yeah.
But
it might not be lost. We'll see. You know, in God's time it'll show up.
It may show up.
Yeah, that'll be crazy.
Right? So now you moved to New York. Where you moved at?
I moved to first we moved, like we had a hookup at the hotel, so we was there when we first got here for almost that whole month. Then we got September hit, then we got apartment in Brooklyn.
Where?
And on Madison in Franklin.
Get out of here. You in the hood.
Yeah, it was right there.
That's the,
they
around the corner from the Y. Like, you around the corner from the Y.
Exactly. They was like, that's best style. But
That's
I kept
best
saying,
style.
no, it's Clinton Hills.
Nah. It's Clinton Hill, right? They call it Clinton Hill now. That's better styling. So let me put
But
you on.
now best style is really nice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But so I was there, but what's so crazy is that, so now this is, I remember my first time in the World Trade Center was I went to Chicago, and when I got back to New York instead, because since we moved to Brooklyn, I was like, man, I don't know how much a cab would be. I went to Newark. I'm like, I don't know how much a cab would be all the way to Brooklyn. You know, so I was like, how do I get to Brooklyn on a train? And they was like, oh, you just go to the PAV train, take the PAV train to the World Trade Center, get off and go take the A or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Did it, got off, and I'm thinking like World Trade Center was gonna be like business suits and just like looking, but it was like a mall. I was like, oh shoot, this is crazy.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm gonna
about
bring my wife here. I'm thinking all that.
Right.
And then that was Saturday, and then the World Trade
That
Center
Tuesday,
went down that
it went
Tuesday.
down.
It was crazy. My first time ever in the World Trade Center. Ever in life that I got to experience that, and then on Tuesday it goes down. And that's when, you know, New York shut down Kanye Way in Newark. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no moving around like that at all.
Yeah, the whole shit shut down when that happened.
My ex-wife at the time, she was in Chicago. When I came back, she was in Chicago, so she couldn't get back. So now I'm sitting around the house, and I'm like, you know, I had nothing to do. And I said, and these are two angels too. This guy named Big Shoes and this dude named Clarence. They gave me 2 books. They gave me this book called Celestine Prophecy, and they gave me this book called Keys to Success. And I was like, I ain't got nothing to do. Let me read this Keys to Success. So I picked it up, and it was like, okay, you have to have a major goal in life, right? You have to have a major purpose. I was like, I'm gonna own a network. So I had a notebook that said, write down, I'm on a network. So I wrote that down. And then as I'm reading the book, I realized that I couldn't read. That's why I was saying when I was reading to my little sister, what was I doing? You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't read, like a lot of words I didn't know, like initiative, all these words. I had to get a dictionary and learn the word as I was reading the book. So it took me like 2 to 3 times to really understand the book. You know what I'm saying? Which I did read. Then I picked up Celestine Prophecy and started reading that, and that taught me like everything happened for a reason, and like look at the signs, and I was like, whoa, this was deep. So it was the World Trade, the incident at the World Trade that got me to understanding and learning how to move, and I'm 30 years old at the time. So now I'm like, oh, word. So when everything started, opening up a little bit, I'm in the library getting like beginning director's books and screenwriting books. I was just getting all these books, and then it was like, and the second thing that the Keys to Success said, you have to have a mastermind alliance, right? So now I'm back with Ye, filming Ye. Then they want to do You Here First. Yaz, I meet Yaz, a producer at MTV.
That's the MTV piece, right?
Yeah. And then she like, oh, I want to introduce you to everybody here. So all the black people were here. So we went around and Chike, I'm meeting Chike. Oh, shit, what's up? So I'm starting to build my mastermind alliance. I'm meeting like Snoop at HBO and all these different people. And I'm like, this thing started moving, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing I know, me and Ye we together all the time and moving around. And then he had the accident, and me and Chike first video was Through the Wire, like, and I say Chike believed in us, you know what I'm saying? I believed in Ye to be just starting to film him. Ye believed in me to even like, oh yeah, let him film me, even though I was famous kind of in Chicago. So it was like
hood famous,
right? I was
So
Channel
was
Zero
like,
famous,
Channel
and
Zero,
people were like, why are you filming Kanye? You could be filming RZA. I'm like, you will see. But that, and then Chike believed in us when he said, when we was like, man, we got no money, but we got a good idea, and he's like, bet. You know what I'm saying? He jumped right on board, and we made the Through the Wire video. And then next thing I know, we in LA, and Chike, like, they called it Chike, we need you to do this. They had called from MTV. We need you to do this, do this, do this. We number 1 on MTV. Chike was like, forget that. I quit. So he quit. And I was like, what? I said, no, don't quit, dog. I'm broke. You don't even understand. Yo, it ain't like what you think. I'm telling you, don't do that.
Right.
You can have money, let we struggle, let me struggle. We gonna struggle together.
Right.
But that man quit because he just seen it. He was like, man, this is what we need to do. We already started Coodie and Chike.
Right.
You know, and when he did that, you know, then I guess the pressure was on. I'm like, okay, so we got to really start, like, you know, he got to pay his apartment bill and all.
So now we really got to grind.
Really had to.
How long you lived on Madison and Franklin?
Only a year.
Only a year,
Yeah.
and you moved from there to where?
To Harlem.
You went to Harlem. During this time, like, so you're filming, you're kind of working your master plan, you're learning, you're educating yourself, which I don't want that to go over people's head, because there's no way you're going to be successful at anything if you don't educate yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So you're educating yourself and you're building your foundation. But with regards to New York as a backdrop, tell me about that, because I didn't know that you interface so intimately with New York City. So tell me about it. Like what did you like to do as a person that lived in Brooklyn or someone that lived in Harlem?
I mean, I tell you when I first would like visit.
Yeah.
Even before I moved, when I would come down here, like for a meeting with the source or whatever we had to do, it was like so much happened within that weekend or that week that I was here. I was only here twice before I moved. Then I was like, man, what if I lived here? You know what I'm saying? I'm meeting all these people. I'm like, yo, this is New York is man.
Right.
And like I said, the carjacking and that money, when I was able to move, I was like, I'm out. And we moved, and it's been nothing. And New York is just, I feel like New York is the best city in the world to me. You know what I'm saying? Still. Yeah, hey. The best city in the world. Because it was the fact of I can interact with other races. In Chicago, it wasn't that. It was you black, and everybody separated.
Right.
Here, it's like
diversity.
Yeah, diversity. Crazy. I went to the apartment lounge. You remember the apartment lounge back in the day?
ABT.
Yeah.
I never called it the apartment lounge.
I know.
But okay,
ABT.
ABT.
That's what we call it. Right. That was probably the tourists and But it was I went there and I remember kicking it with Jack Tripper, right?
With my man, what's his real name, man? But Jack Tripper.
That passed.
Yeah, that passed away.
He passed right after that. I'm kicking it with him in APT, and I'm like, and I told him, I said, man, I feel like I'm in a Regal Beagle messing with you, man. Me and him got cool as hell, right? We got cool, and then I met these Australian cats, and I had to do a show in Philly at the APT too, and I was talking. I bought them a drink, they bought me a drink, and I was like, man, I got a show tomorrow in Philly, man. So they was like, I was like, y'all want to come? Why they roll all the way from New York to Philly to my comedy show?
That's New York.
And I was just like,
that's New York. That's New York. Yeah. I want to hear about your ashy to classy moment. And but what I mean is, you were broke, and then you weren't. I want to hear about that. Like how, you know what I mean? Like you broke, you struggling, you doing all the things you need to do, but we understand, anybody that struggle understand that you're not. I was speaking to somebody, I do a lot of community work, and somebody tried to play me and was like, well, you don't get paid from community work. And I was like, oh shit, they right. I ain't getting no money from this shit. But we do a lot of stuff in our purpose that doesn't necessarily give us bread, but then once it hit, it's hitting. So tell me about that, like how quickly and your reaction to that.
I mean, it definitely wasn't quickly,
right?
You know what I'm saying? It definitely wasn't quick, but I feel like I was always rich.
You know
what I mean? I feel like I was always rich. The joke used to be, man, Coodie traveling the world with $5 in it.
Right.
They was right.
Because all you need is a will. Yeah. All you need is your will.
I never seen it that way. I remember when we did Benji, when they greenlit Benji, and for months, like, you know, cause we'll make some money here and there doing a music video, but for months they was like that we, you know, we had to wait, you know what I'm saying? Because we got greenlit, but the contracts and all of that, so we couldn't take a job, and we just sitting there. We was for months, no money, couldn't pay rent, nothing. My daughter just turned 5, I remember, but this is how God worked, and I wasn't stressing. I remember, like, I used to be happy about getting a big pack of ramen noodles. Like, it was like little things like that I think about all the time when I'm shopping.
But that's a secret of manifesting is when you're happy for the little things.
Yeah.
Like if you can't be grateful for the little things, you're never gonna get great things.
Man,
so
sure.
that's it's funny because you're mentioning things that you did naturally that speak to universal law. Like that's why you were successful is because of things like being happy for ramen.
Yeah,
right.
Man. Happy for ramen. I remember my daughter turned 5, and I went to go get a cake, so I had to get this little bitty cake. That's all I can afford. And then the candles, I couldn't afford the candles. And then the 5 candles, I was like, maybe we can afford the 1 5 candle. Couldn't afford that.
I'd have stole that shit.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. I would put that shit in my pocket.
I probably, luckily that temptation didn't come to me. But God showed me though. God, I went back home with the cake, and then next thing I know, I get the bell ring, and it's the neighbors, like three houses down. Their daughter just turned 5. You know, and they was like, "Hey, we have this candle here. You want?"
No, that's God. That's God, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like what?
I was like, thank you. Thank you, God. See, Christ, man, I just had such a great relationship with Jesus from when I was little. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I was the only boy, so my mother would be like, "Oh, Jesus is the Son of God." So I'm like, "Oh yeah." So I pray to God, but I kick it with Jesus because He the Son. I'm the Son. We
the same.
So every time I got saved, I knew it was Jesus, and I would say, "Thank you, Jesus." You know what I mean? This when like Jesus wasn't cool to talk about or nothing, and I would just knew that He was with me and like blessed me throughout. You know, so from meeting Kanye, the blessings to saving me from all of the carjacking, a lot of times in Chicago, the fights and stuff we had that He saved me. So you know that's my thing, my relationship with Christ.
I want to hear about your failures. I want to hear about things that we don't know that you failed at, because a lot of times people look at the paradigm of success and they don't understand that failure is a part of that. Like you can't really succeed at big things if you don't fail, because you got to try, right? So what are some of the things, like when you came here, some of the struggles you had with regards to moving in your proper direction?
I mean, it was a struggle, but you just don't see them. Like it's almost like I remember with me and Chike was after Through the Wire. We went to L.A. And we signed with Charles King. He was at William Morris. He believed in us, so he wanted to see what we would do. But we were like, he would send us off on pitches for movies. And we wouldn't get them, you know what I'm saying? Because whatever, first-time directors or music video director, whatever was the case.
Right.
But I'm talking about every time they said no, I was like, thank God.
Because that wasn't for you.
Because I'm like, for whatever reason,
right.
I just thank God every time there was a lot of them no's. Music videos that we'll write the treatment because we didn't want to do a regular music video, so we'll write treatments and we wouldn't get none of the videos. Like only videos we got was when we like really working with the artists, like Pitbull. Right. We was documenting Pitbull and working with him at his very beginnings. Most Def, Badu, Erykah Badu, all the things we got.
Bro, I gotta talk about the window seat video, man. I gotta talk about the window seat video. Let's talk about it. I'm going. I mean, it was a down the line question, but fuck it. Let's talk about it. So y'all do window seat in Dallas, Texas, where JFK was slain. It's a one-shot deal. She's sitting in the 65 convertible, whatever it is. Gets out, starts taking her clothes. Tell me, how did that go, bro? Because I'm telling y'all, you cannot have Erykah Badu get naked anywhere in Brooklyn and it be seamless. So how did this happen?
Well, it happened because we had started first we started our production company, Creative Control, right? Then we getting a website built, and at the same time we was messing with Dame Dash and Most about doing this documentary on this rock band Death from Detroit. These black brothers that started punk rock. So we was all working on that, and then when Dame heard about the website, he was like, "Man, let's join forces because I want to do something with American New, my magazine, and y'all got this website. let's put it together. So we was like, bet. So that was CreativeControl.tv that we was building. So when we got with Dame and Most, it was me, Dame, Most, Chike, and Rocky, his wife now, and my other homie, but I can't think real quick of her name, but it was all of us in Dame House of Tribeca. So we was bringing in like people that we knew, like D and Ricky and all these younger people, and Dame would have like, you know, Lenny Kravitz or somebody come by, you know, and Badu would come by, you know. So I remember we went to a listening party and I was filming her, right? And after the party, she was like, I know you was bootlegging my music. I'm like, no, I wasn't bootlegging, you know. She's like, no, you was bootlegging.
Cause you gonna sell that, right.
So I went to a shot that I know was gonna get her, right? I was like, no, I was shooting this, right? And I turned the camera to it. It was a shot of her shoes, right? I knew it was gonna have her like, oh damn, it was a nice shot.
Right.
So she seen that, and she came back to the her and Jay Electronica is the one that invited us to come see to the listening party. So next thing I know, Jay is like, man, I told Badu that she got this idea for this video that you and Chike should do the video. Was telling me and Chike, and I'm like, I said, yeah. She like, what she want to do? So then we talked to her. She was like, it was this Matt and Kim video, and they got naked in Times Square, right? She said, I want to do the same thing. And I'm like, bet, no.
What? I'm on that. Let's go. Right, let's go. Right now.
So you know, so she came up with the idea, and then we wound up going to Dallas to do it. And you know, I just film everything. So I'm filming the day before, because we rehearsed. So we went out and looked at the area. We was like, where we gonna shoot? We didn't know. We was like, the grassy knoll was the perfect spot. So we went out and walked it.
So
what we do, right?
So y'all thought of that, like, yo, let's go to the grassy knoll.
Yeah, all together. We all came up
So
with it together.
Yeah.
So then we like, this perfect. So we walked it, and we knew we was gonna do slow. You know, we was gonna do slow motion. So we was like, so we went back to our house and we was like, okay, let's rehearse you singing. Where it matched with the slow motion, right? So she had to sing faster or whatever. So we did that. Chika actually shot that one, and then the next day, I went by her house early, and I'm just filming everything. I'm filming her get the makeup, the you know, she had Evolve on her back, so I'm filming all of that, and just her with the kids, her, you know, breastfeeding Mars and. You know, playing with Puma, just, you know, just all the stuff.
Thing.
The whole
you
thing. Mama coming out, like, you know, if y'all go to jail, you know, don't pick up the soap, you know, just right? So
but that's clean drawers on.
Yeah, right. So then we get in the car, we drive, and we like shooting one of her songs, and she like performing on the way, and then all of a sudden, the car smoke started coming out the roof of the car, and I'm like, we like, oh. So we wound up pulling over, getting out, smoke everywhere, right? And I'm filming. And I was like, Erykah, you got a song to go with what's happening right now? Why she had a perfect song on that album? So we
for that situation.
Well, we wound up shooting the video right there. Just one shot of her singing that with all the other B-roll of like the smoke and her lifting the thing up. And so we shot a video before we went to go shoot.
That's crazy.
Then got out there, and then it was between me and Chike to shoot it, and I was like, "No, I'll shoot it. I have to do it because you know it's one take.
Right, you good. I'll handle this.
Yeah, I had to because you know you couldn't mess up. Nah. There was no messing. It was like. Just think about it, something would have happened.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even the randomness is what I'm saying. Like, there's things you can control, but there's things you can't control. Yeah. This is not a closed environment. You're on the street.
On the street, straight guerrilla family.
Right.
And we shot it. We went out there, and she was like, at the end of it, she was like, Coodie, you supposed to stay in front of me. And then she'd be like, Coodie, you made my booty famous. Hey, you know. So, that was, you know, that
it
was
wasn't you that made that booty famous.
That's what I'm saying. But I think that was the first time people really said
that really saw it. That. Right. It was a really controversial video, but it also fit into who she was.
Yeah.
But for you as a budding filmmaker, director, video producer, what did it mean for your career? Because I know what it meant for her career, but what did it mean for you when that came out and everything that came with it?
I mean, as far as like them talking about,
like as far it was trending, like it was like the whole thing. It was controversial, right? And so it's like, okay, this is a controversial piece of art, and yes, the song is the song, but the video now is the art. And see, I think the thing about it is a lot of times when consumers see videos, they're looking at the artist. They don't know the artist that they're looking at, though. They're looking at you. They're looking at your interpretation. They're looking at your storyboard. They're looking at how you have shaped and molded this vision of the artist. But for consumers, like when I'm watching a Video Music Box, I'm looking at It Takes Two, DJ Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. I'm not caring about who's the director. But that video had controversy with it. Did you get any kickback? Did somebody was like, damn, Coodie, why you filming naked chicks and that? Like, what came from it?
I mean, but like we did a couple of interviews after, because if we want the interview was in Badu had to sit us down like, yo, this is the message of the video. And we knew that, you know what I'm saying? But you know how people try to get
they want to get salacious. Like, they want to get like, so like what happened? You're right. They want to get salacious with it.
But a fun fact is that we changed MTV with that video. So MTV, that was the first time they ever did digital. From that point, it's been digital since.
Digital ever since.
Remember, you had to do the whole tape thing. You had to do a whole bunch with the video.
Right.
Tuma wanted to put that video on so bad that he did the whole digital thing so that video can go up before anybody else got it.
Crazy, bro.
And that was the first I asked Tuma.
You ain't never resisted the universe, have you?
Nah.
You ain't somebody that resists the universe. Like what comes, comes. It's like, all right, whatever. We're gonna move through it.
It's the only way to be. Let go, let God.
What out of all your work, right? And again, like I know you got a lot of feedback on Jeen-Yuhs, and it was dope. This shit was dope, bro.
Thank you.
I told you my favorite. Benji's my favorite.
Dope.
That shit was amazing. Tell me, what's your favorite, baby? Like out of all your creations, do you have a favorite one? That's like, yo, this is the one. Like,
I mean, I would say J's because it was like the thing that really, you know, led me to do what I do was to, you know, document Kanye and then to see that come to fruition was like, whoa, and all the faith that we had to have to make that, you know, even as we were working on it was so many things that was just like.
You know what I want to know? Fundamentally, mechanically, how was you saving these tapes? Like, so you're filming, 98, 99, 2000. So you film them, you go to a club, you film them. You, like, at some point, bro, you got a lot of.
Yeah, I had a whole duffel bag, big duffel bag full of them, bunch of shoe boxes full of them.
And God forbid something happened.
Yeah, but I guess I just had so much faith that I wasn't even trying.
Right, so you kept them like in a duffel, you kept them in.
Duffel bags to travel with. I don't think I checked them, but I feel like I checked them tapes before. You know, when I think about it, because the bag was so big.
It's so heavy at the point.
Yeah,
so you was traveling with like the whole.
I travel from LA. Sometimes I bring I bring the tapes with me a lot of times. But so that was Kanye was 330 mini DVDs, which are all hour long. So that's 330 hours of things that said,
and they're all like this.
KW or Kanye or Record Plant or something, baseline or whatever that I knew was Ye. But it was like about maybe 600 or more mini DVDs in the bag. So like I was documenting like Takitha, I was documenting McKellar, I was documenting a lot of people, Pitbull, John Legend. So I still got all of these tapes. My daughter.
At this point, now, how do you store this stuff?
That's
Digitally?
my question.
No. Right.
I'm like,
right. Is it all digital now, or do you have like a room?
We still got to digitize the other 600 and something tapes, which I bet is some dope Kanye stuff. Cause I label if like I film something with the RZA, I'm gonna put RZA on there. But I probably went to Kanye house after that and did some dope stuff that
on the back end of the RZA joint.
Right. Which I wish I was like more organized with that, but it is what it is. And that was like when I was doing the movie, I was seeing the movie. When I was filming the movie, I was seeing it. So when I finished, like I taped something, like when I would tape like the retainers, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a running bit. So I knew that, and I'm like, oh, Jay-Z part, you know, everything that I was just like, was making the movie as I was filming it, so I knew exactly where to go when we started. Yeah, when we started editing.
Right.
And but now we got it all on drives. All the Kanye stuff on drives, a bunch of drives.
So all of the Kanye stuff pretty much is digitized. Yeah. But then you got a bunch of stuff
and Channel Zero stuff. A lot of Channel Zero. But Channel Zero was 390 hours of Channel Zero.
Wow.
Alone. So
and how the show was a half-hour show or 45-minute?
Hour show.
Hour show. Okay, so yeah. Kai, you had a question?
Yep. Shout out to a style called Quest. What was the one piece of work that moved you the most emotionally?
And for talking about
just in
our docs or
one piece of work that you worked on
that I worked on
that moved you the most
between Jeen-Yuhs that really moved me because for the simple fact of Donna was working with us, like tapes and stuff that I was finding. I was like, this directly from Mama West, you know what I mean? Her spirit was with us, but it was. I think Benji was really one too, because we did Benji because we wanted to, stop the violence in Chicago, and everything that was happening. Benji spirit was with us. That's when we first was like, whoa, like all this magic stuff was happening. We like, then we was like, what if we was documenting all of this? And I was like, well, it probably wouldn't have happened,
Right.
So we would say that all the time. It was Benji's spirit, and then for us to get Billy Moore, the guy that shot and killed him, and how that all happened was.
Yo, I followed him. So once y'all did the thing, right, and I saw him, I started to kind of look him up, like every 3 or 6 months or whatever. I would type his name into YouTube to see what he was doing. I remember he was on CBS, got that Sunday morning thing, and he was a guest on that, and I really appreciate how he's processed his role in this and how he's moved past it into actually being of service to Chicago. You talk to him, you guys.
Yeah, we like this, man, Bill.
Yeah, because that's tough, man, for a kid, man, to do what he did, to go through what he went through. Like people look at oh, he's a monster, but he was 16 years old.
16.
And he's this size, and Benji's 6'9".
Yeah.
And so what happened, and he did his time. He stood on his time like he should have. And now he's home and he's a benefit to the community. And that's and he lost his son.
Son.
And he lost his son to gun violence.
Yeah, but as he helping the other kids.
Man,
it's a
and I'm telling you, that's that story, bro. The Benji story really brought me in a rabbit hole. Sometimes me and Kai talk about rabbit holes. The Benji story took me into a rabbit hole to try to understand a lot of what happened. And then I found Billy, and Billy's story is something that really resonates. And I'm happy for him in a way. I'm happy that he was able to use his life for service and to find his purpose.
Yeah, I'm still doing it,
You know what I mean? What's up, Crad? Y'all got questions? You got questions for the brother? Cause I ain't gonna be the only one here, man. We got a studio audience.
I was gonna ask, are you only interested in documentaries?
No, we moving into feature films as well. I actually wrote a film called Southside. It's about the Ben Wilson story with Billy. It's really a Coodie High, but it's like, what if you told the story of Stone and Robert in Coodie High? You know what I mean? So it's that.
I wanted to ask you about this. This is totally off track, but Billy went to Calumet, right? So Ye in his rhyme said something about a school full of stones and nicknamed me K-Rock, so you leave me alone. Now Stone that killed Cochise, tell me about the Black Stone. I want to know about that paradigm, that gangster paradigm in that space. Because you hear Black Stones, GDs, you hear these words, right? In the same way as you may hear us talk about D-Seps and be like, well, what the fuck is that? How does that play into the lore of Brooklyn? So speak for a minute about that.
I mean, you had the Black Stones was it was this guy, Jeff Fort. Who ran that, who's a political prisoner as well as Hoover. Hoover was the head of the GDs. Both of them political prisoners as of right now, but the like I said, it was all about the 5-point star, and they had certain rules in the moles. They call them the moles, Black Stones, L. Rookins. Then the GDs was the GDs, and you got the Black Gangsters. I remember when when it all separated there. It was like, wait a minute, I thought everybody was GDs. Now it's black gangsters and
gangster
disciples and
right. We got
black
GDKs
disciples
here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We got GDKs, Gangster Disciple Killers in Brooklyn, a gang that's called that.
Yeah.
But see, New York gang life is different, bro, because what we have now is just young kids reflecting on what they've seen on television, what they hear in music. Because New York gangs, essentially in the 60s and 70s, was a lot like Chicago. Territorial, right? So if you lived here, your gang was here. But then Bloods and Crips came to Brooklyn, and then we ain't never been the same since with regards to how young men kind of coalesce under the idea of gangsterism. It's different now. Like, it's just whack now here, bro. It's terrible. It's terrible in Chicago too, honestly. And that's part of the problem, is that there's no direction. Do you feel like as an elder or growing up, and like, your bro here, y'all from Chi-Town, do y'all feel as elders you have obligation to, at the very least, save somebody from this idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're doing it with film. That's our purpose of the films that we're making. We want to show that, like with Benji and with Jeen-Yuhs, want to show you opportunities and how to really manifest things. You know what I'm saying? So we think about that when we make our film.
Gotcha.
We think about the youth. And definitely Benji. I wanted these kids to feel that. I'm like, they gonna watch this and they gonna feel exactly how I felt.
Let me tell
all
you,
the
man,
gangsters felt.
you had the funeral scene, right? And so that, again, it reminded me like that. It just looked so sad. Like, it was such a sad occasion. Then I saw a video, and I don't know if it's from your doc or somewhere else, but Jesse Jackson, like, challenging the parents like, yo, if you're a parent, you gotta be responsible for your kids. If you're a parent, you're responsible for. And it was such a moving thing that I always wondered what was the effect on the community in Chicago of that. But you said, like you said, for a minute, it was like peace. Like, people got right for a minute.
People got right for sure. Then we had the mayor, Harold Washington. And he wound up, dying in 87, I think it was. So it was like, one tragedy after the next.
Yeah, Harold Washington was somebody that was nationally recognized. Like, we knew who Harold Washington was in New York. Because he was like the first black mayor in the nation, right? Yeah.
So we had him, and he had the city so dope. But then you had also the Chicago Bears. We won the Super Bowl.
To pay the Super Bowl shuffle.
Then we had Michael
Refrigerator
Jordan.
Perry. Then y'all had Mike.
We had Mike. So Mike carried us. Mike carried us through to 99. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Straight through.
Mike carried us through, man. Thank God for Michael Jordan, because believe me, he saved a lot, because we'd be watching the game. I went to jail. I went to the county. The first time I've been in the county.
What you did, Coodie? What you got live for?
Pistol.
Pistol? You had a pistol?
Yeah, we got
you out here playing with these damn pistols, Coodie.
They wound up locking me up, but I remember going into there. It was the worst place ever. The Cook County jail was like, what? And then we walked up and out. They walked me in, and all the processing was insane. Then they walked me into it was like a big room full of beds, a bunch of kids, bad kids. Think about that. I walked in, I'm like, luckily, the Bulls was on. They was all around the TV watching the Bulls.
They ain't notice you.
No, they ain't even notice me. But they doing stuff like watching, and then somebody be going around smacking people on the back of their head. Pow!
Right.
Heavy-handed. I was like, ooh.
Open net. That's what we used to call it here.
Open
net.
Oh,
open net.
Man.
That's open net.
Then they asked me, like, they was like, what you ride? What gang you in? I said, I'm Neutron. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you say you in the gang, if you say it, you better know the laws.
Right.
So what's the law? Spit the lick. I'm like, I wouldn't.
Right.
So thank God though, my father came and got me before the lights went off.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm gonna ask you an interview question, because we've been just talking. What you working on now?
Okay. We got a few projects. So right now we finishing a project called Kendall's Cross. And Kendall is a Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. Then he won in '96, and when his mentor, died, got shot and killed. Have you ever see the Foxcatcher, the movie?
No, I can't.
So it's Foxcatcher is this facility that was built on a DuPont estate. You know, the DuPont.
Yeah.
So he had all the best wrestlers. He had this dude, Dave Shorts, who was one of the best wrestlers, who won Olympic a few times. That was running it. So all of them would go train, and one day the dude DuPont shot and killed Dave Shorts, which was Kendall's mentor. So when that happened, that was '96 when he won the Olympic. So Dave trained him, and Dave was supposed to go to the Olympics too, but he got killed. And he started doing cocaine, and then from cocaine he started doing crack. And when he just lost his family and everything, and should I tell you this part? Because it like
no, don't tell us. If you gotta ask, don't tell us. We don't want to know. We don't want to know. But you're working on that. What else you got going on?
And the way he was saying was God, but I just say that part. Yeah, we're working on Arnie Barnes.
Oh, word! That's the painter from the Good Time.
Yeah.
The Good Time. Yeah.
Yeah, so we doing it.
Ernie Barnes used to play football before he was an artist, right?
It's so crazy because the way we met Ernie Barnes was we working on College Dropout. His nephew was in the studio, record plant in L.A. Just out there, and I was going to get some water, something on the scooter. He's like, man, what y'all doing in here? I was like, we working on an album. Come in, just come on in. Ain't even know him. Kanye playing him some songs. At the end, he was like, y'all know I'm Ernie Barnes' nephew? I was like, Ernie Barnes, the painter? He was like, Dad, I used to have to say Good Times, the Marvin Gaye album cover for people to know my uncle. I was like, nah, I know Ernie Barnes.
Yeah.
He wound up coming to the hotel, the W where we were staying, with 2 signed autobiographies of Ernie Barnes. Gave one to me and one to Kanye. We looking through the book, and we didn't know that he was a football player. We're like, he was a professional football player. We tripping on this, right? And at the same time that we looking at the book, we look up, G. Roberson walks in the room, Kanye manager, with an Ernie Barnes throwback jersey on. We was like, that's his jersey.
Get the fuck
right?
out of here.
And we was tripping on that, like, what? Oh, that's crazy. So I was like, hey, you should have Ernie Barnes do your album cover like he did for Marvin Gaye.
Right.
He did Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield, B.B. King, bunch of them. And Kanye was like, that. And so Marcus set up a meeting with me, Kanye, his mom, Donda West, and Mr. Barnes at this cafe. I remember walking in. We came early, but he was already there. Legs crossed, looking
Smooth.
like,
Yeah, them old school dudes. They're different. They different. Yeah, they different.
You know, he big
yeah,
too.
big
you know
dude,
what I'm saying?
right?
So,
legs crossed, like
chilling and just like so smooth. And then we just created a relationship with him. He would like come by the studio. Then him and Kanye would go over, what they want to do. So I'm like filming his whole process from sketching to like, he'd be like, Coodie, come by the house. I go by, he painting, we talking, and he go to the library, show me
he
stuff.
lived in L.A.
Yeah, lived in L.A.
Right.
Yeah, and he would just like, he'd be like, man, come to breakfast. Like, Chike, we go to breakfast at Ernie Barnes. So we all go, often. We'll go to breakfast with whoever was with me, went to breakfast with Ernie Barnes.
Right. Yo, I'm going to give you my number when we leave. If anybody of that ilk, take me with you.
But so crazy, he transitioned in 2009. Yeah. He was like, man, I want y'all to do my movie. And we'll like go to meetings with him to do his movie, like me and Chike. So they, of course, like, we'll get Spike Lee or F. Gary Grylls, try to kick us out.
Right.
And he was like, no, I'm going to forget all them. I'm going to write my memoirs, and then we'll take my memoirs and we'll do a script and go from there. And he wound up transitioning 2009. And I've been documenting his estate since 2009 to now, keeping his legacy alive.
That's awesome.
And all the stuff that he been doing, his spirit's been doing. Yeah. We've been documenting. That's like awesome. The G. Roberson with the, you could tell a story, but if you show it, like G. Roberson walking the road with the jersey on, filming this.
Look, I'm gonna give you this. If you work on it, just right, pay it forward. But look, reason why I know about Ernie Barnes as a football player is because in the 60s, a lot of those athletes that were black athletes really moved into the arts and culture space in a very significant way. So you know Jim Brown and Fred Williamson, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We know those two. But Bernie Coates, Carl Weathers, Ernie Barnes, right? Even Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was going to play for the Lions. He did a tryout for the Lions.
Yeah.
So this is during the civil rights era, where black athletes, specifically black male athletes, were kind of finding their way and realizing, listen, I'm an expressive person, and even though I'm an athlete, I want to be able to express myself. And that's how, because, you know, like Bernie Coates, you know who Bernie Coates is. I didn't know. Rosie Greer, another dude. Like, a lot of these cats that were athletes in the 60s really moved into the arts and culture space. And it wasn't like they was getting big money to be actors or whatever. It wasn't that case. It was like, yo, I'm expressive. I want to express myself. I'm out here in LA. Let me see what I can get into. And that's the thing that should be, because now you got the black athlete now is different, right? Because the black athlete now is a cultural celebrity. But in the 60s, they were not. You ain't know who these cats was.
Yeah, they weren't making money. They had to do things afterward.
They had to work in the off season. They had to sell insurance and sell cars in the off season. Y'all got questions? Because I can talk to this brother for a long time.
So I know filming Kanye, the idea to do that and the spiritual connection to that project was probably once in a lifetime, but can you think of anyone else that you'd be interested in filming their life again?
I mean, I'll tell you one I am filming is my daughter. So my daughter, you know, I've documented her now from birth.
How old is she?
You know what
now?
I mean? She's 16.
Wow.
So, and she's gonna be, you know, I know she's going to be doing something great. You know what I mean? And then it's like that's one that's because they like, who can you do like that long? My daughter, you know what I'm saying? So, and Channel Zero, but as far as like just somebody who that I'm not doing, who I would like to to film like their progression. I might be just graduating from that part, you know. like our thing is now like feature films, and we finishing these docs, so we definitely owe it to Ernie Barnes, of course, and the Kendall Cross we doing that we think is a really powerful story. But besides my daughter, you know, I don't know, you know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let me ask you, what type of father is Coodie? And what lessons are important for you to give to your daughter? Is that you only have one child?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, hey, you know, God is good. But so you saying like
what type of father are you? And really, I really want to know, because the thing I get from you is that you did not resist the universe, and a lot of times that I don't want that to go over people's head, bro, because the fact of the matter is we feel like struggle is progress, but sometimes you got to move like water. And it seems like you've just been moving like water. Like, you get carjacked, you use the money to come to New York.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you lose a tape and you wind up in a, you know,
a bunch of other tapes,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you've been very fluid, right? And I don't want that to go over people's head, but what I really want to know is, do you teach your daughter that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, having all sisters made me more knowledgeable on raising a young lady. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I used to not raise my daughter. You know, I mean my sister, but you know, and to my father, you know, he was there. You know what I mean? He, no matter what, he was there until he transitioned. You know, and he taught me a whole lot. And I was proud of my daughter the other day. We was driving, me and Kenny Koo was taking her to school. And then she was on the phone with a homegirl, and then the homegirl said, she said, no, you gotta say you gonna get it. You can't say you not.
Say you not right.
Like you gotta say you gonna get it.
Yeah, she
and then you gonna get it. But if you say that, you know, so she telling her, and I'm like, that's exactly what I would have said.
Yo, that reminds me of, you said something. I saw an interview. You said that Kanye, the way that Kanye manifests, you've never seen anybody manifest stuff like that. Like, he'll say things and it'll just come.
Yeah.
But I feel like you kind of like that, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I'm saying that more probably in retrospect. You know what I mean? Because we was all manifesting what we manifested. It's funny because it's a comedian just did a joke about me yesterday, I think. Yesterday, a white comedian. He was like,
a white comedian.
White comedian. He was like, yeah, I seen that documentary. He said, man, it's crazy how you could do, you know, I love Kanye and I'm a college dropout, whatever he said. He was like, it is crazy how you could do a documentary on a narcissist like that. But he was like, but the dude that did the documentary is the biggest narcissist of all. How you gonna do a documentary on Kanye and it's all about you?
Oh,
He was like, Coodie,
oh, shit.
You know, he clowned me. He was like, Coodie, he'd be like, yeah, and when we he said, yeah, because Coodie like, yeah, and we was like, oh man, our life's about to change forever, right? He said, the quote I said in there. He said, yeah, Kanye life changed. He said, Coodie in Chicago with a 1-bedroom with a 3-year-old. Right? It was funny. Yeah, I'm gonna repost it.
He cooked you. Yeah, repost that.
It's funny.
Repost that shit.
But
yo, we first met at the De La Soul event on March 2nd last year. The De La Soul event. Everybody that was worthy was in the space, right?
Crazy,
I like, tell me, why was you? What was it about De La? Like, why did you decide that that's where you needed to be in that moment?
I mean, because God brought me there for sure. But you know, I had the invite, so I went. You know, we was kicking it. And then,
did you rock with De La back in the day?
I mean, of course, yeah. I mean, didn't know De La.
No, I mean, but their music.
Yeah, because you know they show love to Common. You know what I'm saying? When they show love to Common, Chicago was like, yo, you know, we was all happy for Common. And Common was our, you know, was a good friend as well. So, you know, it was daylight, it was them songs, you know.
You guys, Chicago is like the city of the native son. You guys have Nick Anderson or Derrick Rose or R. Kelly. Tell me about that Common and Kanye piece, like, because they both kind of were coming up at the same time, and they both were like jewels. Tell me about that.
Kanye looked up to Common.
He
and
did.
No-ID and all of them, you know, because they was doing it.
They was older, right?
They was older, they was doing it. Common on TV, you know what I'm saying? We all did. We all looked up to what Common was doing and was so happy and proud, like him, Twista, you know, the Brat, you know what I'm saying? All the people that we...
Twista.
Yeah.
Man, I remember the first time I heard Twista on, it was like Do or Die.
Yeah, Do or Die, we was saying, you're right. Crucial Conflict.
Yo, when I first heard it, I was like, this motherfucker, who is he? Yeah. Chi-Town came with some shit, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Yeah.
So, Kanye, you know, looked up to all that. He used to look up to Abstract Mind State, which was Greg and EP the Hellcat. They got an album about to come out. Kanye just produced an album for him 2 years ago. They got a new album, but he used to look up to them.
You ever rhyme? You ever write a rhyme?
No.
Nah, you just stick with what you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? Got any more questions? We running. It's 8:36.
I have one question. You stole it.
I stole it.
You stole my question. Summertime Shy or summertime BK?
He gonna say Shy.
BK.
Yeah, I would say Shy, but I love Summertime BK, but I have to say Chicago. You know, because you gotta realize it's a different type of summer. You know what I mean? Because in Chicago, we go through the worst winters. Right. We don't, like, New York don't go through the winters like we go through. So it's a certain peace and certain joy. Summertime Chicago. That's different.
Yeah, I was in Chi-Town one time and I went to Taste of Chicago and I thought I was doing it. Taste of Chicago's cool. Like, y'all do that? Because I thought I was like, psh.
Yeah.
This before social media, but
it ain't. I don't think it's as good as it used to be. Right. They charge. I don't know what's really going on with it. Yeah.
You gonna be here this summer?
Yeah.
You gotta rock with us, Coodie. We do some fly shit.
I had a quick question.
Yes.
Would you ever think about writing a comedy?
Oh yeah, the first movie that I ever did was called "I'm in Love with a Crackhead." I did that with B. Cole. He wrote it and I directed it, and we had Deion Cole was in it. Lil Rel played an extra in it. He played our girl Don Bopin, who actually I believe right with Dave Chappelle. I know she be with him all the time, but she was the crackhead. and it was a scene where she got beat up, and Lil Rel was her double. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was the first film. So I definitely, and anything that we do, even the Southside movie is gonna have a comedy in it, even though it's a tragic film. But in life, it's like it's all different emotions in life. You know, you sometimes you're scared, sometimes you know, worried or happy or laughing, and it's all, you know, in life is all the emotions that we going to bring out in our film. So
I just got one last question, and we can go to the questions for the people online, and that is, are you happy in this moment where you've come, right? Where you've come from and where you are in this moment? You happy?
Yeah, I'm too happy.
You know what I'm saying? Good.
Like I'm excited. I'm like.
Because a lot of times we go through the grind and the struggle, and we get used to the grind, and we're not necessarily happy, but we just like keep, you know, at it.
Yeah.
But are you breathing properly, right? Are you exercising?
Everything.
Are you eating well?
Meditating.
Like, are you meditating? Are you happy?
I'm hugging trees, man.
We got a doctor. We got a doctor in the audience, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'd have been out there today hugging the trees, but I had to get ready to come in, and we working on the Kids Across, so I'm editing too. Yeah. I would have been in the park today doing grounding and, you know,
that's important.
Just enjoying life, man.
Yeah.
God made this. He made us, and everything that he created was for us to enjoy. You know, and we just, you know, sometimes we just not living in the present and the now, and we just in our heads, you know, somewhere else. But if you live in the now, you can't help but be happy.
And for the small things, for the little things.
Man, for air.
The
candle.
Carjacker. He probably, you know, carjacker probably took your tape. He was like, what the fuck is this shit? He probably just, he didn't even understand. Because he wasn't meant to understand.
He might have taken it to the pawn shop and
He wasn't meant to understand.
Somebody take over.
What we got on the crowd?
It was just the one question that was there. Let me just.
I just want to tell you, we never have a studio audience. Oftentimes, it's me, the guest, Kaisha, and Jason.
Yeah, we started a studio.
We started a thing. We got a couch full now, you know what I'm
thank
saying? But it's because of you, and it's because of your value to the culture and who you are and what you mean to the, like, do you ever think about that, what you mean to the culture? Because a lot of times, like, I mean, you do the work because you love the work, not because you want accolades, right? But do you understand what you are to us?
I mean, you know, I just always give the glory to God, you know, so I look like I'm a tool for what he want me to do, you know what I mean? And if it's inspiring or helping somebody, then, you know, that's what that God wanted, you know? So that's how I look at it. I be, you know, it's happy that, like I say, the dude talk about a narcissist. I'm long from a narcissist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I share everything with God.
But that's why that's a funny joke.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah.
the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna repost it.
Kia wants to know who won Sneaker Wars.
Who won the sneaker awards?
Don't forget that.
Yeah, but
Who won the sneaker? How
y'all
can
definitely.
right? How can we lose? We came in a
I
10.
didn't even know. Right.
We got it. Like, how can we lose? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, you know, Chicago.
You might just show the winning. They can see.
Yeah, look, man, they can see it. Look,
You know,
that's his first win.
yeah, because there's been a lot of controversial. There's been a lot of controversial. You know what I'm saying? Jason come with his name on his shoes, and guests be like, "Oh well, he got his name on his shoes."
I love them.
You know?
You got custom kicks. That's fly shit. Nobody got these.
Yo, let me tell you, brother.
Show your transparency. Yes.
I appreciate you.
Marlon.
What's up? What's up? Oh, look at it's a three-way tie.
That's why it's bootleg.
The three-way tie. It's a winning team. Show the winning team. Look, brother, I appreciate you. I thank you, not just for being here and choosing to be and rock with us today, but for just who you are, right? And your journey, because your journey will teach people a lot. Maybe not now. Like, we got into it a bit, but eventually people will see how you did what you did and your service to culture, your deference to the creator. Like, these are things that we can't take lightly. And I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for sharing. We had a great conversation.
Thank you, yeah.
I'm telling you, you got to rock with us this summer, bro. I'm telling you, man. We got the block party July 13th.
July 13th.
Right?
Let's do it.
Yep.
Anything else? All hearts and minds are clear? We good?
We're good. We're good. Amazing interview, Ayana said.
Okay. We'll see y'all next Tuesday. Y'all know how we do it. All right? One love. Peace. One love.